Go platinum.
Right? Yeah. I can freestyle every day from Saturday to Sunday.
What?
It's a fun day, don't you know?
What?
Anything can happen.
Happen
Show.
Look at that.
Dang it, that should have been an extra.
Y'all seen the lights go out, right? I'm not
Yes, we
tripping.
did.
Okay. I was like,
That's because his rhyme was so tight.
I'm
That-
not on
that
any
it
kind of
put out-
psychedelics right now, am I? Like the lights are going on and off right
his
there.
rhyme was so tight it put out the light.
Ooh. Come on, we're going on tour.
Right.
All right. You know my sound is always on point, Felicia. So yes. Give me the thumbs up. You love it. You're smiling. Yeah.
And then my iPad is still recording.
Your iPad is recording, bro.
Perfect.
We capturing all the raw material.
Perfect. I want everything.
Uh-huh.
Turn me down? No. Okay.
Yep. He's perfect. And then we're gonna
I
get
need Darrin to talk. I don't know where he.
Oh, okay. I can keep talking.
keep talking.
Yeah. Want me to keep going? Keep going? That's the lead thing. Knowing.
Go what?
They be coaching.
He told me that was his spot.
Don't you see that I am the best? Don't be mad at me that I work the best.
Ooh, come on.
Don't you
Talk that man.
I can talk.
It's the Anything Can Happen show.
Oh.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Say hello. Say hello. I wish I could sing. Then I'd be a musician.
Yeah.
But I can't sing. I can only rap.
Man.
Which
These days they got auto. What's that? Auto.
I know, right?
That's been
I know.
auto-tune.
T-Pain hooked us up with that. So
But he could actually sing.
yeah, I know. I've seen him live. He can
Yeah.
actually sing. I've seen him live twice. You know, all these singers use auto-tune. Weeknd, Chris Brown, they all
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Felicia is coming
Hey,
in.
Janet Jackson.
Everybody has.
Everybody.
My old producer just sent us.
Beyonce too.
My old producer just sent us some of our music from the it might have been 2000, y'all. It was so 90s. I'll have to play it for you later on
Well,
when we're not on.
Okay.
when we're
At 40 or 39? 40. 39. Okay. We're going.
almost there. We ready. We ready.
All right. 5, 4, 2, 1. You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Quezzy Dreams, and your man Cat Fitness, y'all.
What up?
Ooh. Hey, Kenya,
Yes.
guess what we're going to be talking about today?
Money.
Ooh.
Money.
Come on, we're going to make it rain in the building today.
Yeah,
we got
we do. Shoot.
we got the money man himself.
He is Mr. Money.
He is Mr. Money.
This is the man that I get my financial advice from, everybody. And I just have to say I'm very excited for him to be on the show today so he can spit some of these gems to y'all, to our audience. This man is a genius.
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides Brother Quezzy, he is one of our financial gurus
Yes,
in
he
the
is.
building.
Yes.
Like every time we come in before the show, we at least spend like 15, 20 minutes talking about financial literacy of some sorts.
And
Brother-
he's part of the KGPC family.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Darrin, how you doing today?
I am doing well. I'm so blessed to be on the show finally. I mean, yeah, we talk offline all the time, but I'm here.
Come on.
I'm here.
We had to bring it all together one day.
He's here.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your show and what's the impact your show brings to our community.
Sure, yeah. So I have a financial show, Financial State of Minds, the show where I help people get to the bag, manage that bag, and grow that bag. And how do I do that? I preach, teach, and go nerdy over personal financial literacy and business as well. If it's about money, I will break it down and talk about it. That simple. And to answer your question further, how I'm impacting people, There's a lot of financial shows, there's a lot of financial podcasts, a lot of financial content.
Yes.
But one, there's still not enough people who look like us doing it. But the main thing I would say is I don't see a lot of people in general go like 101, just like teach like it's an actual class. Like you don't
give you all the
nothing.
steps.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that was important because that's the type of questions I get in my everyday life. I'm not getting, oh, what can we do to tax advantage and hide all this stuff? I can talk about it, but the everyday question is, well, Darrin, my credit score is 600 and I need to raise it. How can you help me with that?
I believe I asked you that question, I believe I did.
We all need better credit.
Yeah. So, I really try to focus it on just people who don't know a lick about financial literacy. And, I'm proud to say, it's doing well and people are enjoying it. And that's what matters to me mostly.
What I like about you and your show is that it just overall in general, oftentimes, we get a lot of our information off of Instagram, right? Or social media. We really act like social media is a whole like factual situation. When
it is. What are you telling me?
Whatever.
Over there, Kenyon.
Whatever.
It's not factual.
Well, it is for you. What your business is factual. My business is factual. Darrin's business is factual. Quezzy's business is factual. But you do have people on there who really don't know anything and are just trying to give advice to people just based on nothing. And the thing that turns me off of a lot of those people and that turns me on when it comes to Darrin is that a lot of people are, they're just throwing their Mercedes keys up in the air. They're sporting the Versace.
Hey, I'm about to hop in a Ferrari after this. I don't know about you, Ken.
Right. Oh, you do know about me.
My Ferrari is outside the studio right there.
No, and my Volkswagen is outside the studio. Okay, because I'll throw my keys up in the air, but it's a Volkswagen.
And my Uber's outside.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And so that's one thing that I like. Realism, I like authenticity, not, you living in your mama's basement, which is fine. You can live in your mama's basement, but then don't front, don't roll out in your fake designer outfit or even your real designer outfit when you don't have a pot to pi, in or window to throw it out of, as my mother would say. So I just like that. Where did that aspect of your personality come from? Because you're so grounded and you just keep it so real and so authentic. For somebody that's in finance, you do not seem to be putting on airs in any way, shape, or form. You and I have already talked about this in the past.
Yeah, so first off, thank you. I appreciate you recognize that. And it comes from a couple of things. So it's kind of twofold. One, I'm not a flashy guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not. The way I grew up and just the way I had things going for it, I was blessed to have the things that I wanted as a child. So I don't have the urge to get the Gucci, get the Louis, and get the Mercedes Benz and get the flashy stuff and stuff like that. Like, of course, I have some nice stuff. And
sure.
I have a nice Swiss watch and stuff like that. But that's just not me.
Right.
So that's it's just not me. That's
sure.
Answer number one.
Yeah.
Answer number two is I try to create content based off what I would want to see as a consumer of content. And there's enough people who are pulling up to their 100-unit apartments and coming out in a suit with a Gucci belt on and a Patek watch, and they're talking about, hey, I did this, you can do this too. Look what I got. There's enough of that already.
Yeah.
And there's not enough, at least from what I've seen in the content creation world, of everyday people.
Right. Because
the thing is, right now on my phone, I have real millionaires on my phone. I can call right now. They're not. You don't know they're millionaires. They dress just like us. They act just like us. They won't even drive fancy cars. Like they drive Hondas and Toyotas just like us. That's actually what a real traditional, successful, financially free person looks like and styles like. Everything else is entertainment.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. It's entertainment. And I get it. It is good entertainment. A lot of the young kids, they want that. They see it. Cool. That's just not me. And I think there needs to be more, especially from our community, there needs to be more people where it's just like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm still building, but I'm well off. My best friend is in IT. He's one of us, and he earns a game boat of money, and you would never know about the way he acts or talks. It's just important for me to send that message out to especially younger generations. So
I mean, and I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with the finer things in life. There is definitely not. I think it's important to know what your priorities are as far as where your money is gonna go. So, like my best guy friend, shout out to Kelly and his beautiful queen, Annette. They have been working and working and working, and they finally just bought a house. Super exciting. They're so happy and so excited, and it has been a journey to where they're at right now. And so I think part of the education, and you can tell me your opinion on this too, Darrin, is part of the education could be, and in my opinion should be, more on what is going to stabilize your life. What is something that you're going to be able to maybe pass down to your children and grandchildren, your heirs? What can you do with your money once you get a handle on your money, right? That will benefit your loved ones in the future and benefit your life right now. Like, there's nothing wrong with living your life and doing your thing.
Right.
But I think a lot of it is this kind of show-offy thing where you really don't have what you are pretending that you have. And then what message is that sending? And what's that even doing for you inside of your own body? Like, how does that even feel, when you're just perpetrating?
Right. It again, it's not that style. You said something that really hit home with me, and that's what can you do with your money for security?
Yeah.
That's why I'm into money. Security.
Yes.
I've said it in my own show. I've said it for anyone who knows me, but for the listeners listening, I've had a very traumatic past, and a lot of that had to do with people passing away that are important to me, and it took a lot of money. I'll just get right into it. My dad had Alzheimer's. Anyone who takes care of anybody,
My dad as well.
Yeah. And so brother, know that it's literally the world's most expensive disease. Dementia is the world's most expensive disease. It's more expensive than cancer, more expensive than cardiac arrest. It is the world's most expensive disease.
Can you tell our listeners a little bit more, like why is that?
The level of care. So,
okay.
I can share my story quickly. My dad got Alzheimer's when he was diagnosed at 61 years old.
Wow.
He had early onset Alzheimer's, which is a more aggressive form of it. Usually when you have Alzheimer's, you can live up to about 20, 25 years. My dad only made it for 4.
Wow.
Because it was so aggressive. So, I did what I can to care for him, but there was a point in his last year of life that I hired 2 private caregivers, and I paid them. In that amount, I want the listeners to know, I paid $10,000 a month.
Wow.
For a full year.
Yeah.
And that was considered a deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's taking showers, it's feeding, it's medication, it's a full time, you know what I'm saying? You're hiring people to do the day-to-day tasks that they're no longer capable of doing anymore.
And also, you yourself, our listeners, some of our listeners may not know that you are visually impaired.
Yes.
Right. And so some of those tasks might have been challenging for you to just do by yourself, right, up to a certain point.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I am legally blind, for the visuals out here. My best friend here, his name is Lights Out. So yeah, I'm legally blind and I have glaucoma. So I've slowly been losing vision since I was 24. I'm 32 years now. And yeah, so the entire time my dad was having his Alzheimer's journey, I couldn't drive.
Right.
So, trying to pick up groceries or trying to do things, take him to appointments, I had to rely 100% on family and friends, or in some cases, Uber rides.
Right.
Getting an Alzheimer person into an Uber car back and forth is definitely a fun time.
Oh,
But
wow.
the point I'm trying to make is it's expensive as heck. And the thing is, I was lucky. Between my 4 sources of income at the time, my dad and I, we were earning about $12,000 a month after taxes. But the expenses were still $15,000 to $17,000. So that's still a deficit.
Sure.
And I'll never forget, I'm making the equivalent of basically $150K after taxes. And I'm still getting into debt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, never again.
Well, let's get into that a little bit, because I do believe that a lot of people aren't they're thinking in the now.
Right.
So they're thinking about what I can do for myself right now, what I can buy myself right now, etc. But then you're not prepared for emergencies like that.
Right.
We're not prepared for devastating family events or devastating illnesses.
I forget the exact percentage of the population, but it's like, let's say 30% of the population is living check to check. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One major occurrence that happens, and a lot of people are going to be living on the streets, and we can see that in our community right now. How many tinted communities do we have throughout the Bay Area? And I've gone out there. Yeah, I've gone out there and talked to some of these people to give away, clothes, food, whatever we could at the time. And I actually, one time we were out there giving away, some food and some hygiene products and everything. I saw somebody that used to work at one of the local gyms that I knew.
Wow.
Living in one of those homeless encampments.
Living in one of the tents.
Yeah, and I was like, wow. I was like, I remember this guy. He used to be not a host, but one of the reps at the gym at a 24-hour fitness. And I'm like, wow, he's a young dude.
That's the point, is that if we are making any money or having some sort of financial, some sort of income, right? It's important to put aside for a rainy day, or invest for a rainy day, or we were just talking the other day about life insurance stuff, and so that's part of the issue, is that so many people, particularly in our community, the people that I talk to, are not thinking that something could happen like what happened to you with your father, aren't thinking about things like dementia, Alzheimer's. It could be anything.
Yeah,
absolutely. Let's take kidney failure. My dad had kidney failure and Alzheimer's. Man. So I was at the Vita, where you get treated.
Yeah.
And listeners, I want you guys to make it clear. Wasn't no white people in there. It was blacks and Asians, specifically Chinese, that dominated the clientele at the Vita right
and those
here.
Places are popping up everywhere.
And they're
sure
because kidney failure is absolutely demolishing our community. Yeah. Like my uncle has it, my dad had it, one of my god sisters who's 39 years old has kidney failure.
Wow.
Like it's
I have a friend that has kidney failure also.
Yeah, it's killing us. Yeah. So what I've learned and why I share my story is kind of like you said, this can happen to anybody. I never thought I'd go blind. Going blind. I never thought that my entire immediate family's gone. My mom passed away of cancer when she was 52. My brother, I'll just be raw with you guys, committed suicide at 31 years old. And my father passed away of Alzheimer's and kidney failure a day before he turned 65. So, and then on top of that, recently this year, my best friend, my god brother, he passed away of cardiac arrest at 32 years old. This can happen to anybody at any time.
32, my goodness.
Yes. Wow. Yeah. And so for me, money is 100% about security. That's why I'm not flashy because it has nothing to do with that lifestyle. I don't care. I don't honestly, if it was up to me, I don't want no one to know that I'm rich. But and I'm not rich, but I don't want no one to know anybody about the money that I have.
Sure.
Because it's all about security. I want to make sure that if I go down, a lot of people ask me what's my motivation. My motivation is my brother's kids, my 11-year-old niece and my 9-year-old nephew. Because my niece was 2.5 and my nephew was 6 months when my brother decided to do what he did.
Oh my God.
So that's my motivation, to make sure that, I told my niece, I've been telling her since she was 8 years old, I said, if you get good grades in school and you do everything you're supposed to do as a child, you will get to go to any college you want to go. Uncle will make sure that will happen. And that'll be the same for my nephew too. And that is what motivates me.
Right.
So
it has to be something other than a new pair of shoes or flashy clothes. And and I say that's not true, because people can do what they want to do. Right.
Yeah.
People are going to do what they want to do. But how is that impacting your loved ones? I have 9 godchildren, ladies and gentlemen. 9 godchildren. And they are a huge motivation. And they know this. Some of them might be listening right now. I love you. They're a huge motivation, along with my child, for me doing what I do with my business. Right. And also trying to be a role model in that you can work for yourself, and me and Darrin had talked about this offline one time about being either a entrepreneur or a business owner. I'm an entrepreneur, been an entrepreneur for a long time, and I'm moving into growing that so that I will have something to leave behind for my children, my godchildren, all of that stuff, and not just I think I'm going to buy a new pair of shoes, which I am, by the way. I love shoes. I'm not going to lie about that.
So I know a lot of our viewers. Let's talk to probably like 90% of our viewers, right? Which work a 9-to-5 kind of gig. What would be your first recommendation when it comes to financial literacy? What should they be looking into? What should they be researching to make sure they have a great foundation to start investing, or where to put the money to allow their money to work for them and not always having to work for the money?
Good question. It actually doesn't matter if you're a W-2, a 1099, a solopreneur, entrepreneur, businessman. It's the same for everybody. And I'll just answer that question by what I start with every client. You need to know how much money you're making, how much money you're spending, have budgets in place. Once you know all that, then you can tackle any debt that you have. So now we're entering the world of credit. You need to know about credit.
Yeah.
And then once you're debt free, then start building up your emergency fund. An emergency fund is a savings account or some account that you can access like that with 3 to 6 months of expenses for a rainy day, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Once you have all of that criteria laid out, then you need to look into investing. And I want to make it clear.
So what I'm hearing from you, I shouldn't start worrying about investing until I have a 3 to 6 month foundation of finances in case something happens that I can fall back on right now.
Yep. And I believe in that so much that I've actually declined clients who are willing to compensate me for teaching them investing. And I'll tell you why. This is why, listeners, I say that. The average investment returning, assuming it's not a crappy market like it is right now, the average investment across real estate, stocks, whatever, they all average to about 7 or 8% return on investment.
Okay.
Anyone want to know the average interest rate on the credit card?
Average interest rate, like 20-something percent.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So if you have credit card debt that is building up at 20-something percent, but your returns on your investments is only 8%, heck, you have some real estate, you're probably at 20%. I don't care. It's still not beating that 22% debt that you're accruing. So you need to knock out the debt so you can fully enjoy your investments. It just doesn't make mathematical sense. That's why.
So focus on debt first. Eliminate debt, then focus on building the wealth through investing.
Absolutely.
Come on, y'all. That's a jewel right there.
Yes, it is.
I hope y'all wrote that down.
And on the investing part, that is attacking your retirement.
Mhm.
So we all read the article. Social Security may or may not be here when we're all ready to retire.
Right. That. Oh my goodness. That is so
if
true.
we know that 9-to-5 worker, why are you just depending on Social Security if it may or may not be there? So that's really why I invest. I invest in stocks. I invest in real estate so that when I'm 50 something and retired, and Social Security may or may not be there, I have a source that I can pull from to enjoy my retirement.
So let me ask you this: let's just bring it down to the real folks out there. Okay,
I'm real.
Yes, I'm talking about our listeners, Kat. I'm talking about our listeners, because listeners, listen. I know some of y'all, and you guys can chime in, on the live if you have any comments or questions about this. But this is for our listening audience that doesn't have two nickels to rub together, that lives in the Bay Area, that is like, how am I even going to get groceries? Okay. So we're so much in survival mode that we don't always think about taking a little bit of money and putting it into savings or whatever. And some of us are working in like the grocery store or working at, Taco Bell or whatever, we're thinking about whatever the money that we're making, because what's minimum wage right now?
Probably like
$15 in most of the area.
Okay, $15. So that is peanuts compared to what it takes to live here.
Oh yeah.
And what it just takes to survive. I remember when I had my first job, y'all, at Victoria's Secret. I made.
They wouldn't hire me for some strange reason.
I don't know why. I don't either.
I don't know.
But being the fact that you have all them kids, you must be an expert on the ladies. Okay, you got a whole bunch of kids. Yeah,
I don't like to brag or boast.
Right. I'll leave that up to your wife. But I made $3.35 an hour. That was minimum wage when I started working. $3, people, and 35 cents. Okay. And so now here we are all these years later, and it's still, people are struggling. And like we were just saying, we have so many tent cities and so all of that here in the Bay Area, and it is devastating what we see out there. Winter is coming.
Yeah.
And it's going to be cold, but it's not nearly as cold as people dying on the streets in Chicago or stuff like that, where my family is from. Here, people can live. You ain't going to die 99% of the time. And so what I'm trying to get to the brass tacks for those of us out there working and living, how would they start investing or thinking about money other than just like chasing, their bills, just trying to survive?
Good question.
It's a loaded question. She gave it all to you at once.
Because I know that people are thinking this. I know that, I've had situations many times where I was like, woo, I'm going to have to buy a can of soup, And so this is Bay Area talk. This is real talk for our people.
Bay Area is a unique place because it's the most expensive place to live in the country.
Yeah.
New York competes with us, but that's like Manhattan, the boroughs. Like you go upstate, it's still cheap as dirt up there. So Bay Area, and I understand that's the audience I talk to, it is very difficult here. There's a reason why this is going to be the 5th year where people are moving out more than are moving in.
Yeah.
And we're all moving to the same locations: Nevada, Texas, no longer Oregon because they're basically us now. Yeah. Nashville, Tennessee.
All the tech, tech money.
Yeah. So how can somebody who's making minimum wage money, start investing? It goes back to the first thing I said. It's spend sheet, income and expense sheet. First, you have to figure out how much money you're making and how much money you're spending. Rule of thumb is, I have never done an expense sheet for a client where I cannot reduce their expenses.
Is there somewhere where somebody, say they can't afford your services yet, but they can find like a Google document where they can get an expense sheet to kind of
Mhm.
build that out for
Literally
themselves?
Google expense sheet,
Okay.
big income expense sheet. You can listen to, I think it's episode 10 when I did financial planning.
Yeah.
I mean, giving 2 seconds, I can tell you how to do it. Break out a Google sheet, people. Write how much money you're making and write all your expenses on a monthly recurring way.
Mhm.
So if I know my take home for the month, I'm making minimum wage. Say it's like $1,500 or $2,000, right?
Mhm.
Is my take home. So I would put that at the top of the expense sheet.
You can put it however you want. It can be
Okay.
the top, the side, whatever. And then what I do is left side income, right side expenses,
Mhm.
bottom total of everything.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that's how I have it. It's really that simple. You can use apps. There's apps, you guys out there.
You
like,
can use a piece of paper and a
you can use
pen.
paper. It doesn't matter.
You can go old school. Just do it.
Right. So what I find is that everybody, regardless of income class, most people spend more money than what they make,
Yeah.
and it's on
You live
stuff.
outside of your means.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and it's on usually things that are wants, not
Yeah.
needs. Even the person who's making minimum wage
But
got
the brand new Jordans just came out, Darren. I need
Oh
them.
my
So go
God.
to
My feet are cold.
So go to, for all the Bay Area listeners right now, I'll give you guys the plug. I talk about Jordans all the time. I make fun of people who make Jordans all the time. But what's hilarious is I own 65 pairs of shoes.
Uh-huh.
I
Do
go
you use them as an investment though? Because shoes go up in value now, depending on.
No.
Oh, okay.
I there's other things I collect that are kind of investments, but
Yeah.
Shoes, no. I generally, as much
You're a shoe head.
Yeah,
Yes.
retired shoe head.
Sneakerhead.
But I go to the Nike clearance outlet in the San Leandro Marina. My
Mhm.
average shoe cost. Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm a 6'5" gentleman, and I have big feet.
Uh-huh.
But the concept
For all the
of-
ladies out there, you know,
Hold
that was
on.
a shameless.
No.
That was a shameless plug.
No, you did
6'5",
not.
I like money,
Yeah.
and I have big feet. That's,
Yeah.
No,
you know,
you
follow
DM
me on
me.
follow me on
DM me,
social
ladies,
media.
at Financial State of Mind for all your financial needs. I am still single.
He's like, for
No
all your
kids.
financial needs and to get a closer look at these big feet girls. Come on now.
Yeah. Come on, anything can happen on this show, y'all.
Hey, just because I talk about us don't mean I don't like to have fun. So
Right.
yeah, like you were talking about, even me, I like nice things. Like I have my things. Like I'm
Right.
a nerd, so I have this little itch to collect.
Mhm.
I have a 65 pair shoe collection. I have a 50 bobblehead pair Warrior collection. I'm a big Warrior fan. I have 25 A's bobbleheads. I'm a nerd. I like to collect things.
Mhm.
The thing is, I don't like to pay a lot of money for it.
Ooh.
So my average cost, going back to the shoe and your question about I want the new Jordans, my average cost, and I have 20, 30 pair of Jordans,
Yeah.
$60.
Okay.
So
You
I
set
just
a budget for yourself.
Yeah, so I just go to the Nike clearance outlet, buy all my shoes there. I've literally, the shoes I'm wearing right now, if you want to try to get it on camera, the shoes right here,
Uh-huh.
these are I think these are Paul George's.
Uh-huh.
$10.
$10.
$10.
$10.
Ladies, the man has a big foot.
All right. Before we get
And
too
those are
deep,
nice shoes too.
before we
Thank
get
you.
too deep into this conversation, because it's getting juicy, y'all, we're gonna have to take a music break, okay? And then we're gonna come back and we're gonna get into not only his big feet and the $10 shoes that he got on that are Paul George's, but we're gonna give you some more resourceful tips that you're gonna take away today, and it's gonna change you with your financial literacy, okay, y'all? So this is Black Mark's "I'm So Fillmore." We'll be back. Oh.
Love it.
This remember Black Mark we had in the studio?
No.
Yeah, he's a police officer.
The tall black cop
Yeah,
that we had in here?
yeah, he's a DJ.
No.
Yeah, this is one of his songs that he produced.
He was cute too.
Yeah.
That was also a man with some big feet. He was hot.
All the big chocolate men. We got
I
Patricia
love
Asa.
big chocolate. Man. I know I'm married to a non-big white man. But big chocolate man is like,
It's all, man, I love this conversation. It's all about making it
So
fun and making it relatable. to
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
community.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Somebody let's see.
Don't worry about it. I'll note it and just give me the song so I can put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really good because Darrin knows me. He knows I'm just trying to working on my finances, paying off my bills, and all this other stuff. So I'm like, keep it real for the people, honey.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to be unpoor. Okay.
Yeah, and it's that's why I kind of like talking about it to Bay Areans because it's the hardest here. Like
Yes,
you make it here, you make it
you
anywhere.
make it here, make it
Shit. Okay.
anywhere. Like that's why I'm trying to move out to heck out this crazy state. Too expensive. Too expensive, and they're gonna probably increase the taxes after this dang midterm election again. So,
Hey, time for change. We're gonna collectively all meet in a certain state and take it over.
oh yeah,
Listen, I'm going to Costa Rica. I don't care about these states.
I got bands in Costa Rica. I love that song.
Come on.
What'd you say? Is it what?
I got bands in Costa Rica. Hey, there's a song by J. Cole and his crew. They made a song called Costa Rica.
Oh, really?
And it's a party
I
song.
like J. Cole, too.
Yeah, it's a party song.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Honey, listen.
You ready to go?
I am so ready. I want to give it a year. And that's it. I'm going to get out of here.
Yep.
Alright. We got a minute left on this song.
It's hard for me to rap when other people are rapping. Though. Yeah.
Throw
Oh no, if it's an instrumental, I can just go crazy. I'll go raw.
You freestyle all day.
Yeah. Off the toe. Yeah.
After the first billion, you can retire and just make music for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah. No, my number's modest. I just want to. If I'm in Bay Area, I need 2.1. Well, no, I need 2.1 to last me from 50 to 85. So I need like 3.5 if I wanted to retire right now in the Bay Area. That's why I want to move out because I've done the number. So I've done it in the Bay Area. My number's like right now would be like 3.5. If I was in Nevada, cut that in half.
My mom just moved from Nevada. She
15
just sold her
seconds,
house in Henderson and just came here to Emeryville just so she could be closer to us.
Gotcha.
But her house was cheap.
Yep.
You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Quezzy Dreams, and your man Cat Fitness. And today, we talking that money.
Money.
Man, we have, we have our financial, besides Quezzy Dreams, which is not in the studio with us today. We have our financial guru, Darrin. Darrin has been, if y'all are just tuning in, Darrin has been dropping nuggets on if you're in a situation that you're looking to get out of that, financial hardship, right? You're feeling challenged, week to week, month to month with your finances. These are tricks and tips that can start you on the right path, y'all. So make sure you get out your notebook because man, this brother's on fire, and he's giving it to us raw and uncut.
I want to ask you a question that has been bouncing around social media.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of investments or stocks, rather, whatever, versus life insurance policies as far as saving money? Putting away some money to save some money?
The answer is get both if you can. If you cannot, get a life insurance policy.
Okay, if I have $100 in my bank account,
Yeah.
I'm talking to the real people,
Yeah.
y'all.
That's why I said if you can,
Yeah.
do both. If you
Yeah.
cannot, get a life insurance policy.
Okay. Now, why? Tell the people why. Because a lot of us out there, I'm just keeping it real for the people. A lot of us out there do not have life insurance policies and don't know why they need one.
Really, it's because it's really simple, you guys. And I hate to say it and get dark, but it's just true. It's something I've learned in my life. You are going to die.
No.
Period.
No.
Yes. Unfortunately, we are not all like the man above, eternal. We are all going to pass. So we know that. What we don't know is when.
Right.
Some people do, unfortunately.
Sure.
But for the most part, we don't know when. Getting a life insurance policy will mean that everything is taken care of for the most part, or should be taken care of for the most part, if and when you pass, especially tragically, unexpectedly, something like that. I just 2 weeks ago came from my godfather's funeral. I said on the air that I've lost 4 people. I actually lost 2 people this year. Same family, same God family. Each funeral was $25,000-$30,000.
Ooh.
So unless you guys who don't have life insurance policies have that money, which I mean probably don't, you should consider a life insurance policy. And the policy I got is $750,000 of coverage, short-term policy, which means that it will last 30 years, and I'm only paying $70 a month.
So for you said 750,000.
$750,000 of coverage.
Wow. Okay.
And I only pay $70 a month.
So what's the advantage? Say, for example, you're somebody who says, you know what, because I know you can take from a life insurance policy or just cash it out.
Yeah, you can borrow against it.
Yeah,
right?
You can borrow against it or cash it out, from what I understand, or close it or something, I guess. Why is there a tax benefit to that as opposed to something else? Or
so first off, I don't need to be asking these questions to Quincy. He knows.
I know.
He knows, but from what I understand, because he's the expert, but from what I understand, and I've actually learned a lot from him, so there's different types of life insurance policies. So yes, there are some life insurance policies where you can borrow against it when you're alive. Those are called life benefits.
Yeah.
So usually what happens is you get injured, medical emergency, in certain medical situation, you can borrow against it or you can take from it while you're alive because you're in a situation. Not all policies do that. Some do. There are also life insurance policies where you can essentially invest into the market and not even, if the market dips, you don't dip with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's an advantage over, say, for example, a 401k.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can actually use life insurance as a form of, it is a form of investing. It really is in the most basic sense, it's a form of investing. But the everyday person who's listening, you should get a life insurance because you are going to die. You just don't know when. And unless you have $20,000, $30,000 to bury somebody, you need to get a life insurance so that your family is not worried about money. I buried my god brother. He didn't have a life insurance policy. We had to do a GoFundMe. You do not want to be doing a GoFundMe for someone you love when you got to consider burying them. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of emotions going on.
Yeah.
I buried family members and we had the money and it was stressful.
Sure.
So I can only imagine for the everyday person who doesn't even have the money to bury. And that's burying. I understand people want to cremate. Cremate's still several $1,000s. So unless you have an emergency fund or something, just pay. And that's, again, I chose $750,000 of coverage. You can get a policy that's as low as I've seen policies as low as $50,000.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be $30, $40 a month.
Right.
Just you might need to sacrifice your Netflix. You need to sacrifice your daily cup of Starbucks coffee just for the security of knowing that if something were to happen to you, whether you're alive or not, your loved ones are taken care of financially.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we were getting to some of the meat and potatoes of what we were talking about before our music break, right?
Mhm.
You were telling us that, you want to make sure that you're outside of, debt. That's one thing that you want to focus on prior to investing, right?
Mhm.
And then once you get yourself out of debt, you want to make sure that you know how much money is actually coming in versus going out, right? And not worrying about the $200 Jordans that are coming out next week.
Right, exactly. So the reason why I listed it in order as a income to debt, income to expense sheet, budget, then work on your debt is, let's just say this. I'll take myself for example. My expenses are $5,000. My income actually moves up and down because I'm an entrepreneur. Some months I surplus, some months I don't make enough money. But that actually doesn't matter. What matters is how much money you're spending. What matters, listeners, is how much money you're spending, not making.
Say
He
it
said that
again
again
for the
for a reason,
people in
yeah.
the back.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
I do not make the most money in the world, but I don't spend a lot of money. I'm a homeowner with 2 businesses, and my expenses are only about $5,000 a month.
Wow.
I'm saving. I'm good at saving money, so I don't need to make as much money. Now we're in the Bay Area. I'm gonna keep it 100 for the listeners out there. I get it. You can't do too much when you're making $15 an hour flipping burgers at McDonald's, or you're making $15,000 an hour working at Wally World.
Mhm.
I get it. So you have to. I'm sorry, guys. You may not like this answer for the listeners. You're gonna have to get another job or a side hustle.
Mm. Okay.
Hashtag side hustle life. I know all about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not saying you guys have to all run out and be businessmen, women, entrepreneurs. No,
Mm-hmm.
just get yourself another part-time job. I don't care. Get yourself a little quick side hustle. I don't care what you do, but I can go follow my show. You can learn 101 techniques on how to save money. The easiest way to clear your debt, make more money.
Mm.
It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Make more money. Execution is difficult. The plan is simple. Make more money. Okay, Darrin, I'm a burger flipper at McDonald's. How do I make more money? What are you passionate about?
Come on, break it down for us.
What are you passionate about?
Yes.
Do you love movies? Okay, well maybe you become a movie critic, or maybe you can become an actor, or maybe you can produce movies or an editor. Are you a gamer? You like to play video games when you come home? Okay, well make some content on YouTube, throw it out there, some gameplay or your
A lot
reviews.
of that out there. Yeah.
A lot of out
Yeah,
there.
Sure.
Maybe you do nails, maybe you do hair, you do braids and stuff like that. Again, throw it out there to the world through content and stuff like that, and start your own side business doing nails or doing hair. There is almost nothing. There is almost nothing you do for fun that cannot be monetized.
And I think
absolutely.
I was about to say, I think a lot of people fail to realize that they can
Yes.
make money doing something that they enjoy at the end of the day.
Especially, yes.
Absolutely.
And for the ones who are just like, well, maybe I don't want to do that. Well, what do you already do? So shout out to all my, I don't know, HR people. Everyone running around doing HR work.
Mhm.
People don't know that, yeah, you think every company basically needs HR, right?
Yeah.
Almost everyone, right?
You need a consultant that does HR as well.
Exactly. So the companies, the business people who don't got millions of dollars coming in, they can't hire a full-time HR person. So you can come in on the side doing a side hustle and be an HR consultant and
Come
make
on.
extra money that way.
You're already
can do
doing it.
You can do it for every job that you're doing. Are you a salesman? You can do it that way. Do you do HR? You can do it that way. Heck, are you flipping burgers or rolling burritos like Chipotle? Well, go ahead. You already know how to do it. Do it at home and sell it like that.
Mhm.
Everything you do as a job, 90% of it, you can automatically just do that on the side. And somebody in the world, because the internet has not limited us to just America, just California, just Oakland, just the Bay Area, someone across the world could use your services.
Yeah.
And that is what I teach it. I teach people all the time how they can make money on the side. And I tell them, what are you doing right now? You can do it on the side. What do you like to do? You can do it on the side. So it's easy in concept, and I will acknowledge it's very difficult in execution.
It can be.
It's being consistent at the end of the day.
It is.
Yeah, it's not one day I'm just going to wake up and be like, okay, well, I'm going to put up one piece of content today and I have a business that I can, start getting some financial kickback. It's like something that you at least have to invest 30 minutes to an hour, maybe every day for the next few months before you start getting your name out there and then starting to get the revenue from putting in that work and that time that, you making the content for doing all those things.
Well, and it's interesting that you would say things like making the content because that is a modern phenomenon. And when I first started my side hustle, which now I'm an award-winning makeup artist, but when I first started doing makeup, there was no such thing as social media. There was no such thing as cell phones. I would put makeup on anybody that would allow me to put makeup on them.
Right.
And I would take pictures with a disposable camera, and stuff like that. So there was no such thing as social media. You just had to scrape your way up and get your name out there and talk to people in real life. Talk to real humans with your actual
network.
You had to network the old school way because there was no social media.
Oh, guess what? You still got to do it. Especially
you do. You absolutely.
I help a lot of people who got no money start their businesses.
Yeah. Yes.
Including my business. I have a $0 marketing budget. So my marketing is social media, content marketing, which is what we just discussed.
Yeah.
And networking and referring.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
still. I come from marketing.
Yeah.
I have sold packages that are literally tens of thousands of dollars a month, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year marketing package. Those guys were saying, Darrin, the most effective way of marketing is networking and referrals. So, guys, I get it. It's not easy. You're working somewhere you don't like, and you come home. So a lot of times to a spouse and or kids. I get it. It's not easy. But you know what else is not easy? Being broke.
Yeah.
Right.
And
doing it day in and day out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like where you're at in your present moment and you feel like it's something else out there, you have to make some kind of change. You can't expect doing the same thing over and over again and getting some kind of different result.
Right.
Exactly.
And also too, I think it can be really overwhelming for people that don't know how to take that first step. And I'm just going to talk about somebody I know. I'm just going to put it out there. I have a cousin.
You
guys know I have 8,000 cousins, right? But I do have one that is very, very talented, in my opinion, when it comes to fashion. Right? Very talented. She is as fly as she can be. And she's passionate about fashion and about kind of the way like you present yourself in the world and the way that fashion makes you feel. She's very creative, right? And I'm always saying you need to do that as a side hustle, blah, blah, blah. Now she's got a million things going on and also a real full-time job. Right. So what would you tell somebody like that as far as getting yourself out there, or maybe even creating your own business?
DM me at Financial State of Mind. That's what I tell them.
Okay,
That's
awesome.
But no, and kidding aside, I think of business the same way I think as finances, the same thing I think as wellness. The hardest part is to start.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Take
so
that
true.
first step.
But
so true.
But the same thing in wellness, the same thing we do in business, the same thing we do in finances. You make a plan, and if you don't know how to make a plan, you go find somebody who's done it or done something similar, and you get that help and assistance from them to help you make a plan, and then you just go for it. You don't have to be perfect. Matter of fact, I've never met anyone in business. I've never met an entrepreneur that knows everything in their own business,
right,
or is good at everything they do at their own business. It doesn't exist. I've never met it. Even you can study the greats like Mark Zuckerberg and stuff like that. These guys are great because they're good at getting the great people. That's all they do. They're good at getting the great people.
Getting help is critical.
Come on.
Whether you're a solopreneur, meaning that you're just on your own and that's all you want to do, you still need support, whether it's mentorship, whether it's education, whether it's just having that network of people to bounce ideas off.
I was about to say, you just said it right there, because what do they say? Your net worth is your net work.
Certainly is.
Absolutely. So I get it, listeners. This is not easy, but this is what I'll say. I have 20%, 30% of my right eye. That's it. My left eye is completely blind. I got my best friend right here, for those who are watching.
Mhm.
I have 5 jobs.
No excuses.
5. I'm a landlord. I have an Instagram marketing business. Obviously, I do radio here as part of my financial coaching business. I am a business coach at San Francisco Black Wall Street, a nonprofit where we teach people about business and financial literacy. And I do, and I'm a virtual assistant for my business mentor and his company. 5 jobs, all part-time, adds up to anywhere between 20 to 60 hours a week. If my blind butt can get up and go ahead and do it, and I own a home that gets paid for by my tenants, anybody can. I'm not saying it's easy.
Right. Oh, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It is not easy.
Let's just be real.
But it goes like, to the way I looked at it is, okay, it's not going to be easy being broke, and it's not going to be easy being rich.
Yeah.
And it's not going to.
But I got to choose one.
Right, but you got to choose one, or you can be in the middle, comfortable, whatever.
Yeah.
None of them are easy. So pick your poison. That's what, if you want to think of it that way, pick your poison or pick your blessing, however way you want to look at it, frame it. Just pick it, go with it, and give yourself grace that you're going to make mistakes. And it's okay. I make mistakes all the time.
We all do.
We all do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So,
I could write a whole book on all the mistakes that I've made as a solopreneur.
As you should.
Yeah.
You should,
right.
yeah.
I should.
That's another income.
Stupid things that Kenya did.
Yeah.
I learned from my mistakes.
So, for the listeners out there, I really encourage you guys, if you're in that in the sunken place,
In the sunken place.
Of debt,
90% of the Bay Area.
yeah. If you are there, ultimately you have to sit with yourself. Maybe you need to have a talk with your best friend, your partner, whoever it is. First off, you got to find out what are you living for at this point. Then, because I decided I'm never going to be in a situation where I'm making $10,000, $11,000 and I'm going into debt. That's never going to happen again. So you have to decide, what are you living for, or who you're living for, and what is going to be your motivation, so that you're not living day to day, paycheck to paycheck. What's going to be your motivation that will motivate you to excel in life?
Because it's mindset. It really
100%.
comes down to mindset, and it
Strongest
is
muscle you got in your
scary.
body.
That's right. And it's scary, it's intimidating, it's challenging, it's hard. Other people that are in your circle are not going to be on board with you taking control of your finances, because that means you're not going to be able to party with them that much. That means you're not going to be treating when you guys go out to dinner. There's all kinds of things that are going to stop you from doing the things that you know that you need to do. But it is your mindset. What are you going to have, a money mindset, or are you going to have a poverty mindset?
Absolutely. And going back to the flashy lifestyles and entertainment lifestyles, guys, if that's your motivation to get out of debt, have emergency fund, and invest for your future, please put up a picture of those Jordans that you want. Put it up on your home screen. Do it right now. On your phone, stop what you're doing. Put it up right now. Go Google the picture. Put it up on there. Your dream home, put it up on there. Do it right now. Whatever that motivation is, do it. I don't care. I'm not shaming people who want nice stuff because I want nice stuff. I'm not shaming people who just want security because I want security. What I'm trying to implore people is just to not live a lifestyle full of stress related to money. Because here's the thing.
Stress is one of the number one killers, y'all.
Stress will kill you before poverty will.
Absolutely. And what you said is so interesting. It's mindset. This is what I've learned as a financial coach for the last 2 years. It's so not about information. It's like 10-20% information. It is, and that's why I look at it just like working out. It's 100% behavior.
Yeah.
I look at it just the same way as dieting, whether you're a vegan, whether you're on keto, whether you're on just a normal diet where you're trying to reduce your weight. It's the behavior. We all know how to lose weight. Yeah. We all know how to go. We all know what it takes to lose 10 pounds at the gym. We all know what it is. We don't need them to teach it. We need to do it.
And if you don't, you know where to get the information at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
To empower yourself. You know
Absolutely.
But we can go on and on. I hate to cut this short, Darrin, because this episode
so
is
good.
It's one of those episodes we could go another hour
important.
Easy.
So important.
Yeah. But let all our viewers know where they can find you, all your social media platforms, where they can tune into your show. Give them all your. You got a website they can go to as well?
I don't have a website yet for my financials. I do have a website for my marketing business, which is www.goldenblackmarketing.com. But the best way to contact me directly is at Financial State of Minds on Instagram. I drop a daily piece of content about finances every single day. I try really hard, at least every single day. Please DM me there. I'm more than happy to talk to you guys initially for free and help you guys out. If you guys just have some simple questions, I'm not going to charge you for that. Absolutely. My radio show, Financial State of Mind, you can tune in Mondays at 9 a.m., Mondays at 9 p.m. if you missed that morning broadcast, or of course on kgpc969.org or your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Get all the free game there, because I basically, literally the same things I charge people for, I'm giving away for free on my radio show every single.
So they might as well tune in.
They might as well tune in.
Might as well.
Save some money. Like, I get it. Not everybody can afford my rates. I get it. Go ahead and get the free information. I implore everybody to check multiple sources too.
And if they listen to you, maybe later on, they will be able to afford your rates.
Oh, absolutely. If you listen to me and what I give away for free on my content, whether it's Instagram right now or on the radio, you literally will be. You literally, if you just follow my steps and you stay consistent, you don't even have to be great. You can be good. Just in words of encouragement, real quick. I know we got to like. I used to work with attorneys, so I know all the legal background stuff like that. And I'll never forget, I had this one person who was like the right-hand man to this $1 million making attorney lady out of Massachusetts. She said, Darrin, I'll be honest with you. We're talking business. She said, she is one of the most unorganized attorneys that I've ever worked with. But she's good at her job. She's terrible at running the business, but she's good at her job, and she still makes millions of dollars a year. So again, you don't have to be perfect at anything. This is life. As far as I know, the only person or being that's perfect is God.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to be perfect. As long as you stay consistent and you get the support and surround yourself with the right people, you can be successful out of the trenches of debt and into Henderson or into Calabasas or wherever you want to be. So, and I'm more than happy to help, but that's where you guys can find me right now. But obviously I'll be expanding soon, but I just, I appreciate you guys for inviting me on the show.
And
we appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do this off the air all the time, y'all. So we might as well
exactly.
record it and create some more value for everybody.
Absolutely.
So thank you for tuning in once again to the Anything Can Happen show. You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. Make sure you tune in every Thursday live on IG at ach.show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, y'all. We're giving y'all free game each and every week. Take full advantage, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace, kings and queens.
He's gonna do the drop too, yeah?
Yeah, we gotta get a drop, and I'm giving it a couple seconds before Felicia be like, you cut it too short. You got to give it a couple seconds to cut off. Don't think I forgot, Felicia. All right, that's good. All right. All right. I think you hit your capacity.
Yeah, I probably did.
Let's see. Yeah. Peace, y'all. See y'all next week.